everyone. Welcome to Spotlight on Bensenville. I'm Village President Frank Soto, and today on Spotlight on Bensenville, we're interviewing Tom Villanova. He's a head of the Chicago and Cook County Building Trades. Tom, thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I did want to talk to you about a number of issues because Chicago and Cook County Building Trades is a very large organization. What makes up that organization?
We're the largest building trades council in the country. We have 100,000 members. We have 24 trades that participate in the Building Trades Council here in Chicago.
And that covers anything from what? Carpenters, elevators, what repairmen, what's involved?
Any construction trade at all. Anything that's done in building roads, building buildings, any kind of construction at all.
A lot of people don't realize that part of Bensenville is actually Cook County. Now, it's mainly just the industrial parks, or a part of our industrial park is in Cook County. And we've been very fortunate to work with you on some programs. And I think one of them was an apprenticeship program. When the apprenticeships became open, we had one here at Village Hall. So maybe we can explain to some of the people at home what that program entailed.
All of our apprenticeships are U.S. Department of Labor approved. And they actually control a lot of our apprenticeships when we open, when we close, how many students we take in. It's controlled by the job, what the job market's going to be, because there's no sense in training people if there's no jobs for them to go to. But you referred to the career fair we did here on a Saturday a few months ago, and that was very well attended. And we had people here from every apprenticeship to explain what it's like to get into the apprenticeship. Then we did a career fair at Fenton High School also, which was a great success. We had the students coming through from Fenton High School, and we talked to them about apprenticeships. We talked to them about how it's important to do well in high school. Every trade is math-driven. A lot of our trades now, a lot of our apprenticeships, you have to have a C in high school math before you can even apply, because every trade is math-driven. If you're really bad in math, you're going to be unemployable in the trades. So you really have to knuckle down and do well in school to apply for these apprenticeships. But the good news is, once you get into an apprenticeship, it's a career, it's not a job. That's what we like to say, that it's a career you'll have for a lifetime, it's training you'll have for a lifetime. If you want to go somewhere else and work somewhere else, you'll have that training and that career that you can bring with you.
Well, that's one of the things people, maybe in an older generation, they understood that when you go into a union, you are there for the rest of your life. You have a great job, you have good benefits, you make a decent living, you can have a house, support a family. And, some of the younger kids may not realize that these were the core lifeblood of, just the middle class and of what, realizing the American dream. And trades was one of those conduits.
We in organized labor like to say we are the middle class, and we've created the middle class. You can make a good benefit, you can make a good retirement, you can also make a good living. So we all want the same things. We want to raise our children, send them to good schools so they have a good life too. And the trades are a great way to appreciate that.
And one thing, it's probably important for the kids, if they're watching this program, or the parents who are looking out in the future for their children and say, well, now you see the business trades starting to open up again, in a projection of up maybe 7 years worth of work, at least right now. It could even be more later as this trend continues, but they may be interested in into the trades. So it isn't really just you can walk into there and expect to just become a member. They have to do well in school, and they have to be good in math, and you said a C or better?
C or better in high school math.
And there's testing involved, is that correct?
You have to take a test to get into each apprenticeship, and it's very, very competitive. It's doable, but it's very competitive, and we don't have a lack of applicants. The last sign-up we had in one of the trades, we had 4,000 applications for 300 spots.
Yeah.
So it's very competitive, but it's very easy to do if this is truly what you want to do for the rest of your life. It's a great career move.
And there's multiple trades, and they do different things. So depending on what they would like to do, they have a lot of options. But it's important maybe in a way that people understand how the union invests in those people as well through the apprenticeship program. So how long is a general apprenticeship?
The mechanical trades are all 4 to 5 years, and the investment that the union has, now all of these apprenticeships are self-funded. So we don't take any government money, we don't take any government funding. They're all self-funded by an hour allocation out of each hour that everybody works within that trade. So you can get a good flavor for what trade or what that trade does or what the requirements are if you go on our website, chicagobuildingtrades.org, at chicagobuildingtradesplural.org. You can link to each one of the apprenticeships, and it will give you a description of what that trade does, what the requirements are to get into the apprenticeship, where to apply, when to apply.
Well, and the importance, I think, if I was a developer in an area or investing to build something, is the education level that is put into these people to become certified or to become journeymen is significant. And out of that, there is a level of competency that the employees here or the staff we have that come through our journeymen are the probably most sophisticated, well-trained people out there.
We have a well-trained, safe, drug-free is a big part of it too, workforce. That's another point to bring up too for younger kids that aren't aware of what goes on with the testing. Every trade has pre-drug testing. Most of the trades right now have drug testing throughout your whole career. Mandatory random drug testing throughout your whole career. And that's a big part. And it's a big thing for us to say that we've got the most skilled, trained, safe, drug-free workforce in the United States.
And that's important for to attract business development in this area because cost of construction is significant and labor is a portion of that cost. So to make sure that you have skilled, dependable labor is probably very important if I'm making a decision on building a building in this area.
Absolutely, and I mean Bensenville has done that, and it's the best decision to make because we do the job right the first time with the correct people.
Well, in the earlier job program that we had here in Bensenville, they offered a number of other it was open to not just students, but it was, I believe, veterans and people that were looking for change of employment, maybe underemployed.
Unemployed, underemployed. We have a special program for veterans we call Helmets to Hard Hats. It's a network across the country of apprenticeships that open up. And if you were in the military service, you can apply through this network to places all over the country whenever an apprenticeship opens up. And you will get credit for your military service.
Well, that's fantastic. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are veterans in our area that maybe are looking for a change of direction and to have a better career than some of the opportunities that they are in now. So this program, could they find out about it on your website?
Absolutely. You can link to the Helmets to Hard Hats on our website.
All right. That's really good news. We have a few more things we'll talk about. Stay tuned for more Spotlight on Bensenville as we talk with Tom Villanova from the Chicago and Cook County Building Trades. Hi, I'm Village President Frank Soto. Many residents have contacted Village Hall, our administrators, and our Public Works Director, Joseph Karachi, regarding questions and concerns about the grade cross separation at Irving Park Road and York Road. The video is intended to show you some of the timelines that are involved. But once this project is complete, it is an incredible benefit for the residents of Bensenville. It will alleviate the delays that are caused by the intersection and also will improve overall traffic flow and accessibility to Irving Park Road through Bensenville.
The York and Irving Park intersection is one of the most congested intersections in all of the Chicagoland area. We are working diligently with the Illinois Department of Transportation to try to correct this problem. Working with IDOT, we have come up with a $64 million project to try to improve businesses and our residents' flow of traffic through the area. As I mentioned, 2012 was the completion of the first bridge. We're looking at 2014 being the completion of the second bridge. After that, we'll have an intersection improvement project for the entire intersection with wider lanes, wider cross sections, safer traffic movements. This is all part of a plan that hopefully will start on the intersection improvements in 2014 with a completion sometime in the early to mid part of 2015. We are looking at this project as being a major impact on our businesses, on our traffic flow, and on the village of Bensenville in general. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the Public Works Department at 630-389-2900. 350-3435. Thank you.
The Water's Edge Aquatic Center is conveniently located in the Redmond Recreational Complex in Bensenville. The Water's Edge is home of Fenton High School and Wahoo swim teams, featuring an indoor 8-lane lap pool and diving well. The Aquatic Center is available for private functions and parties. Learn to swim, stay in shape, or enjoy recreational swimming year-round at the Water's Edge Aquatic Center.
The Bensenville Community Library, serving a community of readers. Whether you're old or young, a lover of words, music, or computers, the library has something for you. Check out our new Kindles, toddler jams, story and movie nights, or a variety of other activities offered. For more information, call us at 630-766-4642 or check out our schedule on the web at benlib.org. The Bensenville Community Library, celebrating 50 years of library service.
Is one of Chicagoland's premier ice skating facilities. The Edge is home to the Chicago Steel and Robert Morris Eagles, featuring 3 sheets of NHL regulation size ice, offering skate programs for hockey players, figure skaters, and recreational skaters of all ages. The Edge is also available for private functions and parties accommodating from 10 to 200. Whether you're a novice or an Olympian, experience the spectacular Edge Ice Arena.
Staying connected is important, and at the Village of Bensenville, it has never been easier to keep up to date with what's happening in our community. On your phone, PDA, PC, laptop, or tablet, the Village of Bensenville website offers easy integration, so you'll stay connected at home, in the office, or on the road. To follow us on Facebook, simply go to the Bensenville homepage and click on the Facebook icon in the lower left-hand corner. This will take you to the Bensenville Facebook fan page. Once there, click the like button to add us to your newsfeed and receive regular updates from around town. To follow us on Twitter, simply go to the Bensenville homepage and click on the Twitter icon in the lower left-hand corner. This will take you to the Bensenville Twitter page. Once there, click the follow button to add us to your Twitter feed and receive regular community updates. To receive email and cell phone notifications, click on the Notify Me button. This will take you to the Notify Me dashboard. Once there, simply add your email address and/or cell phone number at the top of the page, and then select which service you would like to receive updates from. The most common update section is in the News Flash Bensenville News. Click on the envelope icon for email alerts and on the phone icon for phone alerts. You can choose one, the other, or both. To watch our public access cable show or board meetings, simply click on the Bensenville Web TV button on the lower left sidebar menu of the homepage. This will take you to our streaming center, where you can play current and past Bensenville cable TV shows and board meetings. To pay your Bensenville utility bill online, just click the Online Payments button and then follow the instructions provided on our secure payment site. If you have any problem, concern, or question to tell the village, then click on the Bensenville Action Hotline button. This will take you to the Action Line dashboard, where you can explain your issue and receive a response within 48 hours once you have clicked the Submit button at the bottom of the page. Staying connected is important. And at the Village of Bensenville, it has never been easier to keep up to date with what's happening in our community. On your phone, PDA, PC, laptop, or tablet, the Village of Bensenville website offers easy integration, so you'll stay connected wherever you are.
Good evening and welcome back to Spotlight on Bensenville. I'm Village President Frank Soto, and I'm here with our guest tonight, Tom Villanova, who's with the Chicago and Cook County Building Trades. Tom, again, I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, we had talked about some of the veterans programs, apprenticeship programs for the kids, the importance of doing well in school and math to be able to get into those apprenticeship programs. And that's really good on a very local level, you know, for our families to know what options are out there for these type of jobs. But a lot of people don't understand how the unions could be very integral into bringing businesses to the state and also helping out municipalities with their labor issues. So I was going to ask you a little bit, or maybe we could talk a little bit about project labor agreements and what they are.
Project labor agreements, we have more project labor agreements in this area than anywhere in the country. We have 118 of them right now that are going. We agree, and we sit down with the owners, end user, and with the contractors and the unions, and we agree that the project will be built 100% union by the members of the Chicago and Cook County Building Trades or the local building trades entities in that area. This stops people from Texas, from Florida, from Arizona coming and taking our local jobs. They're built by our people that pay taxes, that send their kids to the schools in this area, not people from other states and other areas.
Well, and it's important for businesses to enter into a project labor agreement that are building or the developers, because they know exactly what they're receiving in terms of an agreement as to the labor costs. What else goes into that on their end?
Well, and this is one of the big reasons, too, why people want to do work in Chicago. It's our skilled, trained workforce, but it's also a reason why we work well with the business community, with the end users, with the contractors. We have groups that we call tripartite. This is the owners, which Bensenville would be the owner in the water filtration plant and the police department that are being built right now. Then the contractors that are going to build that and the unions that are going to supply the men and women to work on that project. We all sit down at the table and we all negotiate the project labor agreement together, so everybody's happy with the end product.
And there's a number of protections, for example, that the end user might be the Village of Bensenville, that if they're worried about a labor stoppage or things like that, that's actually put into that agreement that that's not going to happen.
We agree that there is no reason, even for contract, to have any kind of a work stoppage on that project for the length of the term of that project. Even if a trade comes up for a contract and they're negotiating their contract and things go badly, that trade has to go in and go to work on that project and cannot do any kind of job action or work stoppage on that project. So you're guaranteed that there will be zero work stoppages during the term of that whole project.
And you know, that's a significant benefit for municipalities, because it's all cost projection and funding and balancing how to to pay for our projects. But these agreements also provide an additional benefit for the municipalities, and that is that we could, through our contracts, ask that a significant portion of that workforce come out of our local or Bensenville residents and the people that live in town.
Absolutely, and that's part of the gist of the big part of the project labor agreement, is that we use the local workforce. Once again, we don't take people from Texas, from Arizona, from other places in the country. We're using a local workforce, and the end product of this too, it opens up more work for people, journeymen, journeywomen in this area. That opens up the apprenticeships, so we can bring kids into the apprenticeships and have them open. When we did the fair at Fenton High School, we had a lot of kids that came up and wanted to know when this was going to open, when that apprenticeship was going to open. but this really keeps the ball rolling for everything and everybody in the area. And then the U.S. Department of Labor will tell us, you've got such an amount of work, you need to open up the apprenticeships and take new people into the apprenticeships. So it works for everybody in the area.
And that's a great thing. I love to see when apprenticeship programs open up, because that tells us a number of things. It tells us that people are back to work that were in those positions already, and it tells us that there's a need and a projection in the future that employment needs to be, there might be some gaps in employment opportunities, and we're projecting out to have work for these people in the future.
It's absolutely right. And one of the biggest myths that we hear all the time, and it drives me crazy, is that there's a shortage of skilled workforce. Well, in this area, there is no shortage of a skilled workforce. The shortage of a skilled workforce is they're talking about somebody that needs to have the training that you get through a 5-year apprenticeship, and they want people to work for $7 or $8 an hour. Well, that's your shortage of skilled workforce. It's the non-union, non-committed workforce that's out there that has skills, but the owners, the contractors, do not want to pay them what they should be paying them.
So what they're really saying is there's a shortage of, what is it, not unskilled, it's underskilled, or where they give a job that individuals are overqualified or significantly qualified for so much better, but they're accepting lower jobs than what they should be doing because of opportunities may not exist.
Correct. And
What is it, underemployed? I guess
underemployed
the
is
term.
what we call it, right.
Yeah, and you know what, and that seems like it's almost a disadvantage really for the middle class to have, things directed toward the underemployed rather than opening up opportunities and demand for jobs at the skilled level, at the union level.
And we don't have a shortage of workers here, skilled workers here, because we keep things like project labor agreements around. We work with the municipalities like you, Frank, and with the contractors together, that we supply that skilled workforce. And everybody's a part of that supply chain.
Well, I think, on a larger scale, I think the Boeing example, when they moved their corporate headquarters here in the Chicagoland area, that was a product of a project agreement. Is that correct?
Yes, and everybody was at the table to get that, to bring Boeing here, and it worked phenomenally well for the headquarters. I wish it would have worked a little better when they were going to move the other part of their operation here, but this one worked well, and I don't think there's any other place in the country where they had everybody sitting at the table and everybody working in the same direction to bring more jobs here, and that's what it's all about, is to bring jobs here.
Well, even with the Boeing, the second component, that Illinois was one of the top people or top states to try to lure Boeing over here, and there were concessions made by not just the state, but also by organized labor in order to attract those businesses here. So you are working to help attract businesses to the state.
And this is all part of what we talked about with everybody being at the table working together. The days of fighting, arguing, all of that hopefully are over. We can accomplish more by what everybody wants by sitting at the table and negotiating and working together.
Well, and I know there's a number of Fortune 500 companies that are in this region, and I saw a recent study that showed how many of them there are, and I was really amazed how many in our local area Fortune 500 companies have located or relocated back to Illinois and to the northern region of Illinois.
And it's because of part of it is because of our skilled workforce here, that everybody wants to come here because they have a guaranteed product when they come here. The Midwest work ethic is the best, and they know what they're getting when they come here. They're not guessing at what kind of workers they're going to get.
Well, and let's talk about one other example. It was Zurich Insurance Company. They're starting a new project here in Illinois.
They're starting a huge project up in Schaumburg, and it's under a project labor agreement. It's on 39 acres in Schaumburg, and it's going to be their headquarters. So they chose Chicago. And these things that we're talking about are a big reason why they chose Chicago. Chicago's a great town. It's a great city, and I'm talking Chicagoland area. It's a great place for me to sit at a table and negotiate with somebody, because we've got a proven product. We've got everything. We've got the arts, we've got schools, we've got education, we've got hospitals, and we've got a skilled, trained workforce too. So why wouldn't they want to come here?
That's a great point. It is one of the most skilled workforces in the country is located right here in the northern portion of the state of Illinois. This area has a number of colleges, schools for their children, so they get a top-notch education. A great place for your staff to relocate if you do move your corporate headquarters to this area. And if there's any of them out there, we're interested in your corporate headquarters in Bensenville. The more we have, the better. But it is really a quality workforce that we have here.
And that's what employers look at. You know this better than I do, Frank, but one of the things too is the hospitals that we have here. When we talk about somebody getting sick in this area, you've got your choice of hospitals to go to. Where if you're in another area, you've got maybe one hospital that you've got to get to for whatever is wrong with you. In this area, we've got just the opposite. You've got a choice of many, many good hospitals. And like you said, universities, the arts are here, transportation's here. We have all of that right here.
Well, and one thing that some people may be asking is, we're here with representatives of the Chicago and Cook County Building Trades. Now, a portion of Bensenville is in Cook County, but there is a significant level of cooperation, and the DuPage unions you work with on a regular basis and associate with on a regular basis, isn't that correct?
We have a phenomenal relationship with John Bosky from DuPage County and Frank Furco from the DuPage County Building Trades. About half of our trades have multiple county geographic jurisdictions. So we work together every day, and we work out problems together too. You'll never hear a problem between DuPage County and Cook County as far as the building trades are concerned, because we'll sit down if there is a problem or a perceived problem, and we'll work it out before anybody even hears about it.
Well, and I think the way this works, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's employment is filled in a particular area, let's just say Cook County, they're going to then pull if there's any vacancies or any unretained employees or members of the union from DuPage County to fill those spots as well.
You're exactly right. When we talk about an area, we don't confine it just to Cook County. We talk about DuPage County and how we work back and forth. Probably a lot of members that live, of our members in Chicago and Cook County, live in DuPage County. We have a lot, like you mentioned, that live in Bensenville. So it's scattered all over the area. But when we talk about the area, it's the region we're talking about to find good middle class jobs for good middle class apprenticeships too, to bring people into.
Well, thank you very much. This was really informative. It was great to see you and hear about all the programs that are out there. So if, one more time for the people at home, if they're thinking about a change of a career or to be going, maybe they graduated from high school and they're looking for a career, the website for
Chicago Building Trades, all one word, plural.org. Just go to that website. You can link to each one of the apprenticeships. It'll tell you the requirements. It'll tell you when to sign up, and it'll give you an overview of each trade too, if you're looking to pick a trade. But all you kids at Fenton High School too, we did the career fair there. If we do another one next year, which hopefully, Frank, we can plan on that with you, with your cooperation and Mary's cooperation. We can get there, but do well in high school. Do well in high school math, and you'll be able to breeze through and get into an apprenticeship and have a good middle-class job that you can raise your family.
All right, well, thank you very much. Thank you for watching Spotlight on Bensenville. Have a great evening, and we will talk to you again shortly.